Ah, here I am. I hope you can see me. I hope you can hear me. It took me a while to set up this live stream. It seems like YouTube has changed a lot. Well, I haven't been on live in a minute here, like since last year. But it just seems like all the little basic things that I knew were changing. And I honestly believe a lot of this stuff is set up to make me think of I'm losing, I'm out antiquated in my thinking, outdated in my thinking. And I know that's not true. I know it's not. So I don't know if anyone's here. I'm just going to talk and tell you how I feel. You, I'm always giving you the real Rhonda, but you really going to get the real Rhonda now, which is to let you know that and it's cold in this house, which is crazy. It's summer and it's cold. Okay, so my body and the temperature, none of this stuff makes sense. It's almost like when I decided to wake up and become more coherent about what was going on, be more proactive, which I thought I was the whole time. Everything just more problems cropped up out of nowhere. I'm working on one project, something else comes up. And it's usually something health related that jumps in or house related or anything to make me feel like I'm not in control of whatever is going on. And I almost like it's a test against me in a sense to make me like switch my attention to something else, sort of focusing what I can focus on. So the other day, my eyes started bothering me really bad. I'm talking about like I got up like it was Monday actually, and I couldn't see. I mean, like it was like when I say I can't see, I'm talking about like the lights are off or all the shades are closed. And that's not the case. So I'm waiting to get into the eye doctor to see what's going on. But I think all this stuff is related to my iron. But the odd thing is that all of this stuff is happening when I'm at a place where I feel like I've done my highest good as far as the rewire and what I'm trying to talk about and what I'm trying to share. And I want to tell you something. This is rock bottom. This is it because my body when the body senses start to fail, see, it's one thing to come into the world blind, I believe, because you can't miss what you didn't know. But to just go from 20/20 vision to one eye slightly bothering you to now it's like the other night I'm switching lanes here. The other night I was out at the grocery store because I slept all day because I was tired because of this iron problem. And I got up and went to the grocery store and I got a gauge now when the sun sets and whatnot. And it must have set a little early because I drove home in the pitch black. I'm like, I'm relieved it's laughable because the old me, it would have been overwhelming. Whenever I talk about people shouldn't be experiencing anxiety and they should be in control of their thoughts, trust me, I'm not contradicting what I know about anxiety. I'm telling you that I know it exists, but you cannot exist with it. Like everything in this experience is designed now to scare me, to keep me in fear mode because I woke up to what this is. But um, I thought about my house a lot, and I really have nowhere to go. It's beyond about me and Jackson, and I want to tell you something. I love my dog, but I'm going to tell you this: I love myself as just as much, which means that he's passing through my life like I'm passing through this life, and I have to take care of me. I know this. So if I just hightail it to the wind and go live someplace, there's no place for me. I don't have the money to go. And my health factors are worrying me about where I can go. I thought about going everywhere from Spain to parts of Mexico to Thailand. But there's no sense in me dragging this sick body around the universe. because that almost looks like I'm trying to escape from what's wrong with me. And I'm going to tell you something. There are people that have illnesses that you can't just wish an illness away. What you can do is prepare your mind to deal with it. I'm not saying the rewire takes away any struggle. I'm saying it takes away any blockages in your mind that tell you this is the only reality that you can have, or this is the only thing that can happen to you. When I started doing those cards, before those cards, I was having what I would call panic anxiety attacks. And so I can't tell you that anxiety doesn't exist. I certainly was having them. And it's scary because it's like I wasn't having them, but I think my whole growing up was a panic attack. And I'm just now like, when I'm learning about the nervous system and recalibrating oneself, I'm realizing my nervous system never really upset or reset, never really had a chance to reset. I just have been in fight or flight mode. It's been interspersed with I got a good job, and I was able to buy my own home and do things a lot of people that I know around me anyway can't do. But I'm in a city, seemingly in a city, well, that's almost impossible because there's no job market here. So for me to get that job that I had, that was like a 1 in a million chance. And it's like, as I lost that job, it wasn't I was so damn crazy about building cars. I saw my whole life just disintegrating and I couldn't do anything about it. And it progressively got worse. And I have found too that the rewire has helped me. A lot of that anger and pain and disappointment I had in my mother, it's not gone, but it's recapitulated to something that I can deal with. She was never responsible for me like an adult like she should have been. She did the bare she did the bare minimum. And there's more of that when you have children. I don't even have children, but I've been a child, I'm a human being, so I know what that means. I knew it was up to me to take care of myself, and I really thought I was doing a damn good job. I went my buying a house and a car and taking care of myself, not having to depend on anybody. People started telling me, you need to find a man. You need to get a man, have a man take care. Find a man with a good job, and I'm like, that's a form of usury. You need to find a man that loves you, or a woman that loves you, or I don't know, a pine tree that loves you, something, but not to be with people just because of what they can do for you. Which brings me to this subject. The people that would help me in my family, and this is how family should work to me. This is community. The friends should work like this as well. I got more community from my job and all those mixed up personalities mixed in with the nice people than I ever got from family. Ever. I got support from family. I got it from strangers on a job site. And what I know is you show up for people like you want them to show up for you. You don't show up and do things for them and then you're holding over their head what you did for them. And that's the kind of thing I come from. And they're all materialistic. And so they're like scavengers. And I'm not telling you nothing that I wouldn't tell them to their face. And I've always been the kind of person that it never hurt me to give. I'm not talking about to selfish reasons or I'm talking about you don't owe me anything after I give you something, but you damn well better believe if I gave you something at point because it probably was at my lowest, I'm looking at you like you can even give me a plate of food. There is something really warped with what I come from, and I know I'm not the only person going through this. I'm probably one of the few people who will sit up and talk about this honestly and openly, because people have this idea that they have to look to a facade of who they want to be or who their people are or what their life is about when that's not the damn truth of what's going on here. But I was going to say that there are people who would help me, but it's got strings attached to it. It has strings attached in a way that I don't know what that is. It's like indentured servitude, at some point, but they seem to forget whatever I've done for them. They should remember it. They should not remember it. What I'm talking about really here is a core level of respect, of giving people how you would like to be given to, if that makes sense. So I was going to say that there is no one for me to, I'm not telling you I don't have family. I'm telling you the family I have They're nothing like me. And I know that in God's eyes, we are all the same. I'm not saying that. We are all come from the same source, I believe, but how we're playing it out here is just different. So there were some work lights in the back of my house, and I had to hook them up in the front of my house because, like I said, I can't see. Out. I got a light from Amazon, and I had to send it back. It was like a $15 light, and I couldn't see any brighter. Like my keyboard, I can't see. Like it's like the lighting in here is off, and it's not. So I know it's something to do with my vision. So I was just gonna say that about my house. My roof is leaking. I'm so thankful for the fact that the furnace is no longer a problem, for the help that I got on here. So I know it's always been hard for me to ask for help because I was almost more or less told I was a problem by someone who shouldn't have seen me. My mother shouldn't have seen me as a problem. And the fact that she did let me know that something was wrong with her. I could sit here all day and tell you I could just about damn near diagnose her as if I had a medical prescription pad in front of me and a psychology book, but there's no need to say that the biggest thing that was wrong was that her heart was in the wrong place because the things that she left, but I had to peel back and the rewire, which is like doing the serious shadow work. And this is more specific than shadow work. It got me to see that I'm running a program, have been running a program that I didn't know I was really running. I've literally been running from things. And I didn't know this. And so, because I was thinking like, well, there's so much time has passed. How can you be grown? You are fully grown. You're a whole human being. This is supposed to be the golden years of your life, and you somewhere still tripping off of all the things, the trips, the falls, the systematic. What is the word? Like they went out of their way in that house to make me fail. I was not set up for success to even think like that I could take something and build nothing. I had to put that in my own head. And always when it goes wrong in the back of my mind, it would come up that she was right about me, but it flip off to she wasn't right about me. No one who tells you that you will never be anything in life and that they should have had an abortion and they hate you exist and who puts your hands on you and just respects you as a child or a grown up, that person has no right to determine who you are. And I met other people just like her. I don't believe anymore that I was attracting these people. I believe that that's the circle I was traveling in. I didn't expect to meet intelligent people in the circle I was traveling in because I wasn't traveling in an intelligent circle. I was trying to live along the perimeters of it because that's what I was used to. I don't have low self-esteem. I don't have any, I'm not ashamed. I was told all that. I'm not ashamed of myself. I'm telling you now how I felt. What it is that I'm trying to build all those things or have all those things within the confines of people who told me these things. You cannot heal in the place that you are sick. I'm gonna tell you that now. You cannot heal in the place that traumatized you. It doesn't even make any damn sense. It's like the building's on fire and you run in it and then you're surprised that you catch fire. It's the other way. It's the other way out. So that's what I wanted you to know that what I'm doing. Like this rewire thing is really on my mind. I'm dedicated to it because I cannot. I went to the library the other day and I can't get these documents to print. I've never seen anything like it. So it's almost like something is just trying to. I don't believe in self-sabotage, maybe in a conventional sense that people mention self-sabotage. I just think that things keep happening in this life. And depending on how you view these things, your response is how you get through it. The old me, I'm not even going to tell you because they will tear this video off the internet if I tell you what the old me would have wanted to do to myself for all this happening to me. would have done it. Wouldn't even be here making this video. But the rewire, doing those cards the first several days, I'm telling you, I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything that made any sense. Like, this is not adding up. I'm not progressing. I'm not learning anything. I'm not wake up a few days later or the next day or so and feel like, hmm, now the old me, the one with the dysfunctional thoughts running in the background that were undermining what I was trying to do. See, the thing about affirmations is this: you got, and on these, like I said, the rewired brain cues are not affirmations in that sense. They're like, I've done so much research that I need to just get my white lab coat on and just be done with it, because I didn't have any idea it would take me this far. Because in the beginning, it was presented like as this magical thinking thing, like, just manifest, manifest. No, this is about taking control. I'm not going to tell you that it works. I'm not going to tell you it solves every problem. I'm going to tell you it stops problems from dissolving you. And so that means you move on to the next thing and the next thing. And in some weird way, how I got through, because before I had to retire to disability, I went through so much that I used to say God was in the plan. I always say that, but that God is in the plan, because there's no way I could have got over the hurdles that I got over unless something else was leading me, because people were just telling me I was going to fail. You're going to lose your job. You've got bad health. I mean, things that there's no coming back from. The things that would have taken me under a bridge pushing a shopping cart. Although I'm not very far from that, it feels like. And I think what the rewire did was, I was going to say that affirmations, just using affirmations is like blissful. Everything's going to be fine. Life is going to be good. You need to figure out, is there some, we all have an underlying current that we're living by, subconscious thoughts that we're living by. And they're coming up in what you're doing, how you view the world, and how you react and maneuver through the world. And you could be having no problems at all. That doesn't mean that you don't have anything else. We all got some kind of program running. I guess you're lucky if you don't have like all the excess drama. But everything I'm running in the background, everything I'm talking about, is not just trauma based. It's the idea that you want to mean what you say in this life. I always say word is bond. That's why I can't mess with my family, because word is not bond. I have never, I've called people and told them I talk about food because there's no, food is a big thing for me. Because when I get sick, first thing I notice is what's lacking to me usually is two things: food or the means to prepare it, because I'm so sick. And I have never turned my back on someone who needed me for that, because that's something that's a God-given right. That is just like breathing. You shouldn't even think twice about that. I left here about a couple weeks ago, and there was a guy on the corner, and I could tell he wasn't from here. He was too nice. He came up to me across the street. He said, "Ma'am, I hate to bother you." He said, "but I'm here from Maryland, from Baltimore, and I don't have any food. And I hate to ask you," he said. This was a nice looking man, well kept, clean, dressed, everything. He was articulate. He said, "I hate to bother you." He said, "but do you have any food or money?" He said, "And really what I need is food." He said, "Really what I need is food." I said, "I have cans of soup that I can't eat because this iron thing and the way my system's working, there's certain things that I used to love that I can't eat." I took him 2 cases of uh, stuffed ravioli, a case of soup. I mean, stuff, but like I said, when I was eating this stuff, it would make me sick like I had stomach flu. That's the other thing about the other day when I got up too. I thought I was having stomach flu. But I want to tell you, I am not someone who always complains about my health. That's what just perturbs me. I enjoy having good conversations And I don't want to talk about nobody's no good husband and how your boyfriend, but I don't want to talk about that shit. Let's sit at tables where we talk about empowering one another and encouraging people's growth. You know, the last real long conversation I had with someone I met like at one of those uh, roadside fruit markets. She's like in her 30s, and she just seen people take you and you start talking to them. And she gave me her phone number and told me to call. So I called her. And she asked me my number. Well, we exchanged numbers. There's no problem with that. And I asked what was she going to do with her life. I said, how's life treating you? She said, I don't do anything. I don't feel like there's anything for me to do. I said, well, what's your interest? She said, well, I thought about going to school, going back to school for x-ray technician. I've got like maybe a year left. I said, why don't you do that and get it out of the way? I said, and then you'll have it. And I said, but it's your choice. I mean, see, you have to figure out what calls to you. And during the months, this was like last summer, I haven't seen her this year because I haven't been to the fruit market lately, fruit stands. And this is the Midwest. So, well, wait, I guess they have fruit stands everywhere along the side of the road, spread fresh. And actually, the fruit is very good. It just has a tastier flavor than the grocery store. Anyway, I digress. So then the end, she told me, I've gone back to school. And I wasn't coercing her to do that. That was something that was in her. I'm just the messenger. You know, that you need to have something that you want to do that interests you. I'm not saying we have to be driven to do things, but to be in a place with nothing that drives or motivates you, that's a lot of what happened to me. I was, like I say, building cars, not because I was so gung-ho about building. I should have been the one engineering cars. I was always so interested when those guys came around because they didn't work like we worked on roller skates. It was straight physical manual labor. Those guys were thinking thoughts and ideas. And I just noticed the difference. I've never thought I was better than anybody. I know that I'm a better class of person than certain people in the sense that I don't look to drag anybody down. Anything anyone does to help me, I appreciate it. Anything I've done to help someone else, it was done from my heart. The problem is the people who took the most advantage of me were friends who were never on my level, people who didn't like me. And I used to blame that on how I was raised. Now that is the subconscious that was leading me, with all this. I don't even want to say it was negativity, but I will say this. No one can lead me like that now. I used to be thankful, and I wasn't even really aware that they were leading me at that point because I've always stood up for myself. I've always stood up for myself. I've always voiced my own opinion. I never played small for anybody except myself. But there are some people that will come and just try to take that energy and manipulate it the way they want to manipulate it, or try to convince you that that's not what happened. This is what happened. That's a form of gaslighting. And like I said, I grew up with a family of gaslighters and narcissists way before it was even coined in the books of what they're calling it now. And I knew it wasn't right because you're asking a person to give up their set of beliefs and take on yours, and yours aren't working, which makes no sense why we all should believe. We all have our individual thoughts and processes. So I didn't want to ramble. I just want to talk about that. But the biggest thing too was when I got sick, like I said, I sit over here on the sofa and I'm cleaning out things in this house. And when I couldn't see on Monday, when I got up, my eyes were just really jacked up. I just dropped everything. I'm like, this doesn't even make any sense. Did I panic? For a minute. But then I remembered, this is not, it's not over till I say it's over. I can't control what's happening. I can control the way I think about it. I'm going to tell you, the more you think with the less blockages to your thoughts, the better it is. The better it is. I so far have broke uh, 3 pairs of glasses. I got these like spectacles left, and what I find is so odd is something is always so life threatening and detrimental, but it takes like a month to get into the doctor's office. And then if you go to the emergency, they has happens unless something's changed the emergency, I don't know. They'll tell you, well, you need to see your doctor. So you're still on the waiting list or something. But there's no reason to be anxious on that waiting list. So I want to say that whatever is going on with your life, but I hope it's just good stuff. I hope you're enjoying the ride. I hope it's just things that make your heart calm. Make your heart calm and make you believe that another day is a good. It's not something that you should dread. Another day is coming, but it's nothing that you should dread. There's never anything you should dread. I'm going to get off of here, but now that I have figured out how to run this live, I will be back to talk about more things. I don't think any. Well, I see some likes. And I see one person is here, and thank you for showing up. It's good to see you. And um, wait, hopefully I'll have sight by then. Unless do they even have a braille desktop? Why would they have a braille desktop? But anyway, thank you for showing up. Have a good one.